Good morning. It's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself, and today I want to talk about burning the boats, letting go of the shore. Okay, so this is a big one, and I'm sure some of you have heard the story before, where they had to burn the boats so that the army would stay on the island and fight. Ever heard that story? Well, it means there's no going back. There is no going back. You burn your backup plan, you burn your boats, you burn the security blanket that you're holding onto, right? We all hold on to security blankets. We go forward and we say, if it doesn't work out, I still have my boots over here. I can still retreat back to the boats and go away. Right? Once we burn them, we have no choice but to stay on that island and fight. Not only fight, but we have to make our plan work. In order for us to survive, we got to stay there and see it through until the end, right? That's the only way. There is no other way out. So metaphorically, it's a nice way to look at it, as burning the boats, but in real life, what does that look like? And how do we launch forward into our new life and burn the old, right? Especially when there's parts of the old that we want to keep. Relationships, people, some parts of our identity, things. How do we burn this metaphorical life and create this new one? So it's all about creating your new life, right? But we're afraid and we keep on holding on to that security blanket, that backup plan, just in case we might need it. Things might not work out. We're not able to execute on this new life that we have envisioned in our mind. And what if it doesn't work out, and we're insecure, we're scared, we're worried about criticism and judgment from the outside world. We feel shame, we feel guilt, we feel insecure, we feel unsure, unsteady, scared, a certain amount of fear, and self-doubt, right? A lot of times we have self-doubt. I want this to happen. I think it can happen. I hope it can happen. But we're not willing to really go all in and to remove the parts of us that make it safe for us to stay stuck, really, and honestly, or go backwards. Try and then retreat, or stay right where we are and not be able to move. So we metaphorically need to burn our boats. We need to let go of that shore and get it right out of the sight, so that we can't, if we're in the middle of the ocean and we can still see the shore and it's closer to where we need to go, we need to lose sight of that shore. That's a famous quote too. You have to lose sight of the shore in order to get to the other side, right? Once you lose sight of it and you know there's no going back, you have to go forward. So let's do it. The first thing is, it starts with a decision. I am going to make a commitment to being different, to claiming a new life, to living the life I want, to creating my new identity. And I'm going to do it today. I'm going to choose. You could just choose today if you wanted to, because it doesn't all happen at once. It happens in steps, right? So deciding is the most important part. It is the key. Deciding, I'm going to burn my boats, and I'm going to go forward and have no backup plan to come back to. I'm going to let all that go. All that security, the what if, the backup, right? Let it go. So people are afraid to make the decision because in an instant your whole life can change. And you change as a result of that, and you might not feel ready. You might not feel like strong enough to handle the new life that you're creating if you just decide and it all comes at once. But truthfully, it can all come at once, but it still will happen in steps that you can manage, right? You just have to be brave enough to not stand still and to not go backwards. You have to keep going forward with each step and commit to every day, every moment, going forward and not going back. So what does it look like, and how do we do this? How do we create this new identity? First of all, we have to let go. We have to let go of our illness, right? Of your chronic illness, your chronic pain, your chronic condition, your chronic symptoms, whatever it is, your chronic anxiety, your chronic depression, whatever it is that is keeping you stuck and sick and unable to live the life that you want, you're going to have to burn the bridge back to there. Meaning, you have to let go of anything that keeps you stuck in that life. So what does that look like? It might mean giving up all your doctor's visits. It might mean giving up the medication you're on. It might mean giving up your daily talks to your friend or your loved one about it. It might mean giving up your protocols that are specific, like your chiropractor or your back manipulations or your daily enemas that you do. Or it might, I know some of those things might be generally good for health and you can keep them if it's not holding you in a mindset of chronic illness, right? Some people go get massages every day and they have no thoughts of chronic illness. But if you're using that massage therapist as a way to stay connected to your chronic illness, like you're going because of your pain, you want it to get better. Like if you're doing it because of that and not just for daily, general, stress-free, healthy living and lifestyle. And so you need to get really honest about that. Are you using that as a crutch and a connection to your chronic illness and as a way that if you don't do that, you're not going to heal? If you don't do it, something bad is going to happen? Or do you do it because you choose to want to do it, because you choose to eat that way, because you want to be healthy, because you want to put that fuel in your body? Or are you choosing the particular diet you're in out of fear? If you are, God forbid, if you do eat anything else, or if you don't eat that way, you're never going to be healed and you're going to die. So you have to be honest with yourself. What is binding you and holding you? What of the things that you're doing on a daily basis link you to this chronic illness, this chronic pain, this chronic whatever you have, right? How are you using it to help you get better? If you don't do it, you will fail. If you don't do it right, you will never heal, right? What is that fear? If I stop, oh no, right? That's exactly the thing that you need to burn. That's the boat that you need to burn. It's like the army who went onto the island. That's the last thing they wanted to burn was the boats, because they knew if something happened, they couldn't go back, right? So if you give up, if you're using, I don't know, chiropractic manipulations, and that's your thing that you think, oh my God, if I don't do this, I literally will have this pain forever, and you're terrified to stop. That's the one thing that you need to stop then. If you're only going to the chiropractor because it's just a general thing, you could take it or leave it, you don't need to do it, then that's a different situation. But if you feel the fear that if you give it up, you might never heal, that's the exact thing that you need to burn. So that's step one, is burning everything that keeps you feeling like if you don't do it, you won't heal. Because that psychology in your mind is saying, I'm not healed. And you want to give up that lifestyle. You want to give up those thoughts. You don't want to link that in your mind. You are going forward. You're getting through chronic illness. You're not going to use it anymore. You're going to give up the conversations if you need them in order to survive that day, right? Then you're using those conversations about your health in order to meet another need, like a closeness or a bond or a comfort, or to soothe your lack of, closeness or with the world, or fear of abandonment, or whatever it is. But you need to give up the very things that you're doing that are keeping you stuck. Second thing you need to do is decide what you want. What do you want? Many people resist maybe going back to work or getting a new job or letting go of this or letting go of that because they actually really don't want to do it. Right? So you use it as an excuse almost to say, oh, I need to stay home. I have chronic illness. I have chronic pain. I have chronic fatigue. I can't work. I can't do this. But there's an underlying need that staying home and babying your chronic illness symptoms is, I understand you literally can't work. Like, I literally understand this, but there's part of you that really doesn't want to go back and get that job. So it's a win-win in that situation, because, and you're saying, yes, but I would much rather have that job than stay home and have this pain. I would do it in a heartbeat, and I get that. But there's a part of you that doesn't really want that job. So you got to do some more soul searching. What do you want? If you could have your dream job, what would it be? And don't limit yourself. Don't be fearful. Don't hold on to the backup job, the backup plan, the backup part of your life that you don't want anymore. You don't want that life. You don't want to go back to a life that you don't want. You want to go forward to a life that you do. You need to find something that you're excited about doing, that gets you excited, that's more about your passion or your interests or your message to the world, or something that lights a fire under you and you think, yes, I could do this. And you can get excited about it. You can get on board with it. You can feel like you're taking steps forward when you move forward to your life. But don't move forward to a life that's created in safety, that like you have to go back to your accounting job or something. If deep down you don't really want to, that might have been part of the internal thing that you need to change. You need to become a new person. You know, maybe you need to write that book, or go back to school to do this awesome thing that you want to do, to be an architect, or to create that small business that you've always dreamed of, or to go out and help people with your story, or whatever it is. You need to be connected, to feel connected and inspired and fulfilled in some way. So you need to choose what your new life looks like. And what about your relationships? Do you want to keep those relationships? Maybe you like those people, but you're not happy with the dynamic of the relationship. Then you got to change it. Maybe you're simply not happy with the people, and you need to burn those relationships and not be afraid to leave. Maybe you just need to fix what you already have. Or maybe they're fine on their own and that's not part of the problem. But you need to take a long look and decide what it is that's keeping you linked to this chronic illness, that's keeping you linked to patterns and to a life that you don't want to live. And you need to make changes that have you move forward, that have you reflect more joy, more inspiration, more peace, more calm, more health, more love, right? So all of our choices are designed out of love and peace and calm and inspiration and joy, instead of out of fear and grief and sadness and guilt and shame and what if and criticism and judgment and blame and worry, right? That's not what we're creating. And anything that is in your life that does that, you need to burn it. Doesn't mean you need to leave your husband if he isn't really the problem. It doesn't mean you need to, if your kids cause you stress, it doesn't mean you need to abandon your children. It means you need to take a look at what's happening in your life and say, I need to change. Maybe you do need to leave your husband. I need to leave this relationship. It's not going to work. I don't like this person. I don't even really want to live with them. Or I need to repair this relationship. I need to change the dynamic of this relationship. I need to change the interactions that I have with these people. I need to start bringing love and joy and listening and respect and all these things back into the relationship, right? Those are also positive changes that you can make that change. So I'm not saying you have to just skip town and give up your entire life and identity in order to make these new changes. No. You need to give up anything that is keeping you stuck out of fear or worry or shame, right? And you need to give them up fast and hard and say, I'm done. Just like a smoker who needs to just throw away that last pack of cigarettes and say, I'm done with it. But now you need to fill your life with something new, right? Maybe that smoker takes up jogging. Maybe they start to learn how to cook or take an art class or do something else that fills that is in a much more alignment with who they are in their soul, and that they can feel good about and bring passion to and interest and joy and love into this new venture in their life. So it's not just about burning when you're burning things. It's also replacing with things that are good for you, with things that connect with your soul, right? And that's how you go forward. But the very first step is deciding, I won't live like this anymore. I won't have chronic illness. I won't have this life I hate. I won't live with these emotional triggers day in and day out, these unresolved traumatic feelings. I won't live with all of this. I won't build my life around this anymore. I'm brave enough to let it go, to burn the story, to burn the connections to the story, to burn the connections to the memories, to burn the connections to the link that keeps me stuck, to the desire to hold on to the safe piece of it, to the desire to hold on to the soothing or connection or whatever you might be getting out of it, and be brave enough to let it go fully and completely, just like the army did when they burned their boats and watched them burn and realized and stood there and took in a moment, we have to make this work. Our new life awaits us and there is no going back. And once you get that mindset, and once you're confident in the mindset and you let go and you burn the old that is holding you mentally captive, because you'll never completely go forward, you'll never give it your all, you'll never jump in with 2 feet unless you do lose sight of the shore, unless you do burn the boats. So go back and watch this video again. You really need to burn them, and then you need to replace something different every day, a new perspective, taking steps forward in your relationships, in your career, in your money, in your finances, in your health, doing things that you feel are good and bring you a sense of peace, fulfillment, joy, and things that you feel good about as a person. You create this life for yourself and suddenly you're stepping into it without even realizing, right? So we don't wait until we feel better in order to create the life that we want. We start before we feel better. We burn the bridge before we feel confident enough to do so, or else we'll never burn it, right? We will never burn it. So I hope this video has been helpful, and I hope that you stand in your own personal power and burn your bridge today. Burn your boat. Lose sight of the shore. Let go. Let go of the edge of the pool that you're holding on to. Right? Burn it all behind you and leave no choice but to go forward.